I love that. And I hold that one screen on there for a minute because that way we can get 2 minutes into the video before I start cussing.
Well, this is definitely a topic worth cussing over, but um, yeah. Anyways, hi, anyone out there watching right now? PC, I see you out there already doing work.
Yeah, hi PC. How you doing? It's
Hey, Joe,
yes.
the production value of the Kentucky Atheist has skyrocketed. Seems
Yeah.
to me like you've made some very intelligent choices on who to choose to run certain parts of your channel.
Yes. Jess is not with us today, but probably the most valuable player over here. I just show up and talk, really. I mean, uh,
I
she
am jealous. I am in the middle of a rebranding myself because I'm just like, okay, I'm not on the same playing field as TKA anymore.
uh,
So I need to get busy and get caught up.
this isn't the final draft of what we're going to use, but my Sunday show is getting ready to be. Hold on, let me move this here. Oh nope, that's not the one, is it? Mm-hmm. It's getting ready to be this.
Okay.
That banner will be smaller and the boxes will be bigger, and there's a few changes to it, but that's going to be the basic setup. Yeah,
You're going to include the chat in the stream?
yeah, because it's going to be streaming to 3 different platforms.
Okay.
Yeah, so the I'm switching providers, and
What do you mean by providers?
I won't be with StreamYard anymore. I'll be using the EV Mux.
Okay. Yeah, I need to come up with an alternative as well. I don't think I can maintain StreamYard at my current level right now.
So
I
so
like StreamYard is simple and it works, but I could go for a little bit more flexibility in my layouts. And StreamYard's recent price raise is just like, okay, now you're pushing it.
so here's the deal with it. The it so I've been shopping around on this, right? I've been doing a little bit of research. I've actually went and used the other platforms a little bit just to see, get a feel for it and stuff. And sorry everybody, my lighting looks horrible, but the what I found is that Restream is probably the best deal. I mean, it's the cheapest, and as far as compared to StreamYard.
Yeah, but
But
then you got to use OBS, and I'm kind of been enjoying not having the extra complications of OBS.
sure, um, EV Mux is almost like having OBS integrated into StreamYard. You can set up scenes, and you can design them completely from scratch, every aspect of it.
Yeah,
You don't,
and
and you can put whatever you want in the content boxes and whatever shape, size, anything you want. You can add screen shares. You can add different pictures, live things, whatever. It'll let you do about anything. Um, Really good. It takes a little bit of playing with to figure out the things you can do, and you can't really realize the potential until you get the paid account. But it's a little more expensive than Restream, but nowhere near as expensive as StreamYard. So I
but
think,
does even Restream and do any of these other platforms have the ability for like an easy invite of guests onto a show?
well, I think both of them do.
Okay,
Um,
I didn't
it's
know.
pretty much similar to StreamYard. Restream is almost StreamYard exactly. It's got strengths in a couple other places and weaknesses in others, but it's just like StreamYard pretty much. EV Mux is very much more professional and allows for a lot more control over what you're streaming. Normally, like that screen you seen, that was in OBS, but I can do that. I can put the chat and everything in EV Mux with no problem. Like I don't have to use OBS to do it.
Yeah, I've
Um,
all but removed OBS from like my day. I used to use it daily. I don't use it at all anymore.
I used to edit all my videos with OBS.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm just trying to
that's
keep it
not
simple
true.
myself, but
I used OBS to set up all my videos, not edit them. I edited
yeah.
them with Shotcut.
Well, your art is looking excellent. Your thumbnails are really nice, clean and simple.
Well,
And
we
and
services there too.
Yeah. The new logo, the Kentucky Atheist logo, love it. Absolutely love it. The red
I do
feet.
too. Jess is quite amazing, and the thing that I really love about working with Jess is that I was able to say, "Hey, like you've talked to me and you understand like my point of view and stuff and seem to get me. Like I'm not going to tell you what to do. Like take off and do it how you think, and then we'll go off of that because I'm not creative. If we go with my starting point, it's all going to look like shit. I mean, uh, people's visited my stream before Jess came and saved me. Um, the she just does so much good stuff, and my social media is filled with stuff that she's done. My TikTok account has several videos that she's made. They're also on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. But um, I have, I've expanded into all these other places, and I mean, right now we're streaming on Twitch, YouTube, and X. The I say X because it says X up there, but Twitter. Um, the She's just made it possible for me to do a whole lot of cool stuff, and Jess has built the house. I just got to live in it.
Yeah. I was looking right before we went live here today. I was looking at TikTok and entertaining the challenge there of like, so lately I'm noticing some YouTube streamers that are multi-streaming from TikTok, and there's one
Yeah,
in particular that myself and my Discord we really gorged on it this week. This gentleman Ian, he's a young guy. He's like ranked third in debate in the country, and he's got a TikTok of like 160,000 followers, and he has a non-stop, never-ending stream of theists to debate. It's fantastic. He goes live for like, imagine the line, 6 hours, only theists. And he's so good.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so like I don't know if maybe maybe the call-in show as far as the call-in studios and thing is kind of dying. And if you want to engage in conversation with people, TikTok might be the way to go. So I don't know. I'm thinking like I'm not really good at other social media platforms. Like I barely can wrap my head around Facebook most days. Um, I'm thinking about tackling TikTok and trying to get used to it and the hang of it, because if you want to live stream TikTok, you need 1,000 followers
Yeah,
before you're allowed to do so. But I think if I make a real honest go of it, and I could probably like poke the bear or stir the beehive enough that maybe I could find a stream. I'm looking for a resource of theists that want to debate. That's what I'm
yeah,
looking for. I've got so many friends prepared to debate theists, but I need the theists to be debated against. So I don't
yeah.
know.
See, I've kind of gotten away from that, like, and you've been around for me doing debates and trying to set debates up and stuff like that. Like, that I used to at least have some interest in it, and I just, I don't know. I mean, I don't care to debate someone, but I'm just not looking for it anymore. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's not. I feel like there's no new arguments to be made, or there's no new arguments now anyway. Not saying they can't come up with some, but and the ones they have are really bad. And it's now with what's went on in the United States with the election and stuff, and Christian nationalists, actively trying to recreate 1930s Germany in the United States. I'm kind of like, I feel like if I was trying to deal with theists now, like the harmful things that I talk about in religion and stuff, I probably wouldn't be very friendly to talk to. And
Right.
but I mean, I'm honest about that. Um, I invited Planet Peterson to come talk to me today, actually, Sydney, because of some of his take on the atheist community that I disagree with. But I would debate him.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Well, what? All right. Well, I mean, we've discussed our aims and targets and plans for our channel's futures. Why don't we talk about the American future?
Right.
Because
So,
it's terrifying right now. I am
yeah,
actually right now engaging in ideas over here on my side of the border, um, because I believe that the stuff that's going to be going on over there is going to be so influential and problematic. It could destroy me financially. That's where I'm thinking right now.
yeah,
I actually think that once Trump takes office in January, I'm fucked. So
yeah,
I'm like
there's,
literally, we're literally like the wife and I are talking about like we need to secure our home, we need to secure our finances, we need to secure everything, because if Trump imposes tariffs on Canadian products, Canada's about to lose like $7 billion with that 10% tariff. Um,
it's a lot of maple syrup.
which means like the interest rates over here are going to skyrocket. It's not just maple syrup. Canada is involved in a lot of the basic materials for everything,
Sure.
right? Like
Yeah.
without Canada, America doesn't get copper, it doesn't get coal, it doesn't get oil, it doesn't get wood. So if Trump puts 10% tariff on that, then we have to raise our price to you guys because you guys will then pay more, which means you'll
Right.
buy less, which means we'll sell less,
Yeah.
and therefore we lose $7 billion.
Yeah. If Trump throws America into a depression or extreme recession because of the how big America is in worldwide trade and the world economy, it's going to hurt the whole world. Like
Yeah,
there's and like not just a little bit. We're talking a lot of damage.
yeah. So
And
the
yeah,
wife and I we were um, thanks to Trudeau and our economy and everything being so great as it was, we've been able to buy a house. We are a six-figure family home. We're very, very fortunate and very happy. But our mortgage is about to mature next summer. And you guys probably know that of all the problems we have in Canada, housing is a big one. It's expensive, right? The fact that I have a house is pretty amazing. And I locked it in on an interest rate that was insanely low.
yeah,
But if I wait until the mortgage matures all the way in August, and I have to refinance that mortgage rate with Trump in office and tariffs on the books and stuff, my new interest rate on my mortgage might be so high, may not be able to afford the house I own.
yeah, yeah. It's crazy, ain't it?
It's nuts to think like that. It's like,
Yeah,
wait a minute. And again, we got a housing crisis in Canada. That's an obvious real thing. If I can't afford the mortgage is a third of the price of rent. So if I can't afford the mortgage, how am I going to pay a rent
yeah,
with six figures in the house? On top of that,
yeah.
it's stupid. So yeah, we're kind of like, okay, we need to like refinance today, right away, and get ourselves locked in at the current rates, which are already kind of bad, but they're
Yeah.
probably going to get way worse with Trump in office. So,
Yeah, and I mean, and that kind of leads into what you and I were talking about is like his cabinet picks.
oh my
And
goodness.
yeah,
Because so 2016 Trump version 1 had guardrails in place. There
yeah.
was people to smack his wrist and say, "No, you can't do that. I won't
Well, he
allow it, or you're not allowed, or whatever." He is stacking the deck this time.
yeah, and he actually said that. He said that last time there were people that, told him he had to do things a certain way and all this, and he said he understands now and he's gonna do what he wants. So, um,
And the
you know,
people he's putting in these positions are the exact opposite of what would qualify them for those positions.
yeah, it's like irony.
It's
It's
oh my goodness.
yeah, it's really some of them are so ironic that it's like really like you're gonna put Matt Gates
No,
who
let's not spoil it yet. Let's start
okay.
with the least interesting one first, and we'll get to the Gateses and the other guys. But let's talk about your new I'm scrolling down my list here because the list is deep, full of craziness. But your new um, intelligence person, Tulsi Gabbard. So like, she literally is a shill for like fascist governments. She thinks like Russia's awesome. She thinks that like all of these other countries that are like really bad places are great. Um, and she is now in charge of America's intelligence, or will be.
And like the implications there is like, remember, they were kind of holding back on intelligence for Trump during his last presidency, and they were making those calls based on him giving classified information to Russian nationals, and him going and saying classified things on camera and on Twitter.
Oh my God, she is so bad for this job.
Yeah, when you think about it like that, it's like, oh God, yeah.
Yeah, she's used to be a Democrat, and then she switched to the Republican Party. She apparently ran unsuccessfully for president in 2020, and now she's a Republican, and she's literally like, if you were to be, who is the biggest weak spot? Who would be someone that could totally be swayed by enemy intelligence? Oh, her?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's make her in charge of our intelligence.
I'm not sure under normal circumstances that she could even get a security clearance, right? And she's going to have the highest security clearance in the world, pretty much. And it's like, you're giving this person who is very much pro fascism, Russia, and all those things. You're going to give them a security clearance that allows them access to our most sensitive information, and is a Trump loyalist, right? Which is his plan. I mean, that's what he wanted to do. But it blows your mind. It's like, that is the worst single person you could pick. PC mentioned Hagseth. You want to go there next?
I just put my notes up for Hagseth. So, oh my goodness. So we got Pete Hagseth nominated for your guys' new Secretary of Defense. Okay, so this is the person who decides which direction to point your guns.
Yes.
Okay? Yes. He's a vet. But the only thing about him that even comes close to making him mildly qualified is he's a vet. That's about it. He's a Fox TV host. He's not even the mainstream Fox TV host. He's the weekend guy. Like, he's not even like, he's got a job on Fox so that the real hosts on Fox can have a couple days off. That's like his day job. And there is lots of clips out there that you can get of him saying things like women shouldn't be in the military. He wants to eliminate openly gay and trans people from participating in the military. He has a lot. He basically wants to, even though without saying it, he basically wants to cut the size of your army down by like 20%. By instantly just saying all these people can no longer be part of it. He's a red pillar. Like, he is a hardcore, like, women are women, and men should be men. Like, he's that kind of guy, and it's terrible.
He, I mean, the only thing that you could vaguely say that gives him any kind of qualification is that he served in the military. Like, but again, you're right. He's like the understudy Saturday host that that like has all these awful takes on women and LGBTQ issues and all these things, and you're going to give them like one of the most important jobs in our country. Like, probably, because if you were to rank the importance of these cabinet picks, Secretary of Defense would be in like the top 3 for sure on I think anybody's list.
If the president's holding a meeting for anything, Secretary of Defense is probably one of the ones that he's in every meeting.
Yeah, he's need to know everything. Yeah. And it's he also has allegations of sexual assault.
Well, that's a prereq, anyways. I mean, that's
right. That's yeah, and it's unreal. It's like, oh, who's a good choice for Secretary of Defense? I don't think anybody had them on their bingo card. Like it's just so far out of left field, and it's almost like Trump's trolling us, or trolling the Senate. Like, who will they confirm? And
these people were almost campaigning without knowing they were campaigning. So by saying some of the horrible shit they've been saying on their own shows or platforms and stuff, and Trump gets word of that, and he's like, I like what he's saying. Let's make him in charge. It's like, oh my God. Because normally that job goes to like a former general or something, doesn't it? Like it's someone who spent their entire life in a uniform, basically.
Yeah, it's usually a career general or someone that's appointed that post.
Yeah.
And the the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Secretary of Defense, and those are all usually well, the Joint Chiefs of Staff have to be military, but I think. But yeah, the Secretary of Defense, I guess he, since he doesn't actually have to apply somebody that has a military rank or did have a military rank. I mean, even if he appointed a retired general, like that would make sense. Somebody who understands the administration of the armed forces.
At this point, Trump making a decision that made sense wouldn't make sense.
Right? No, that's probably one of the greatest things I've heard said about it. Really, I mean, like, yeah, if he appointed somebody that made sense, I would be worried that he had a stroke. It's become that absurd, and they have put forth this idea, and I mean, it's purely conspiracy theory, I guess, but it has been said. Some people have said that he is giving these absurd appointments just to see how far the Senate will go to allow him to do the things he wants to do. Like, this is a test.
Yeah, the way they're coming across, they don't sound like maybes to me.
Right. Yeah.
Like, under normal circumstances, there would be a process. It's the president would get to, nominate or make a suggestion, but then they would go through like probably the most vigorous interview process you've ever had for a job at all, and then it's voted on whether or not you're in or out. Yeah. But it's almost, there's something about the popular vote that Trump won here that and the fact that like Republicans have so much control that Trump is filling his cabinet with people with the same level of care that he would put into like staffing a business. I feel like he's putting people that say the things he likes to hear in positions that he would like to see them try to apply them in, but he's taking people that are weak enough that they will fold to anything Trump says. Like, they'll just be like, oh, I want to do this, and if Trump says no, they'll just be like, okay. Like, he's putting people in these positions that will be so internally grateful that they'll do anything to hang on to these positions. It's the fake it till you make it scenario. Someone commented, I heard it or read it, I don't remember now. There's so much information out there. Everyone's streaming like this right now with this idea that Republicans are now getting what they paid for, right? The red alarms are going off all over the place. But somebody said that Trump is filling his cabinet right now with people that in about 2 years' time, Trump's entire cabinet will be all have the word acting added to their titles. So like he's adding people that he's just going to end up firing in a few months or in a year or so, and then he'll have to put someone else in place as the acting so-and-so, right? Yeah, I mean, so we got this Fox guy who's going to become Secretary of Defense, who probably won't be Secretary of Defense in 6 months. They'll have some other guy in there, right? And you know what? if he does it that way, he gets to have this guy go in, be Secretary of Defense. He gets to go and be extreme and do whatever he wants, right? And then Trump can fire him and say, "Oh, it was his fault. I don't like anything he did. That's why he got fired." And then put someone else in the position as the acting Secretary of Defense, but not call back any of the changes they made, right? He's putting all these scapegoats in place, is how this feels.
Yeah, no. And I think there is something to that. I think that it's Trump has always been about creating chaos anyway. I mean, that's kind of been his whole thing. Like, we're just gonna cause as much confusion and chaos as possible.
Well, there's an actual corporate like management style that where when you take over a new business to go in and just start shuffling the deck and putting all kinds of new faces and weird new positions just to see, whether the company can handle it or whatnot. So I've also heard that like this is kind of what Trump is doing right now. He's stress testing what would happen if he does all this stuff. Yeah. So let's move on to some more interesting choices if you're ready. I see that you're trying to do some channel fixing or repairs here, and that's fine.
Yeah, for some reason my chatbot's not working. I don't know why.
Because
but
you don't
it's
pay
no
him
big
enough.
deal. I don't have to fool with that right now.
So good. So Kristi Noem
yeah.
has now been is nominated for Department of Homeland Security / puppy killer. So if America is ever under siege by adorable, energetic puppies, don't worry, she's got you guys covered.
Yeah. Real quick, $5 super chat from Pinworm. What's up, Pinworm? Hi, Justin and Joe. The silver lining here is when this all goes to shit, he won't be able to avoid responsibility.
I disagree, and I think that's the exact opposite of what I just said. Yeah. He's literally putting scapegoats in positions so that he can fire them later and blame them for doing all the things he wanted to see done.
Yeah.
If that were true, he would not have became the 2024 candidate.
You know what? I've done a lot. Believe it or not, I actually keep up with this stuff, and like I spend a lot of time looking into especially the ideology that we're seeing grow in America, because it interests me and concerns me more though. But like one of the things that as far as scapegoating goes, I think now looking at the election, a big issue has been that when Americans were asked about how happy they were with the economy and things like that, there was a lot of bitching about prices, and rightfully so. I get it. People weren't happy with how much money they were having to spend and felt like they were not in a better place. Well, rather than approaching that with policies to fix those things, what Trump did was create scapegoats out of immigrants. He gave something for people to focus their anger on by using racism, xenophobia, and bigotry, right? So he created these scapegoats, especially immigrants, but he also did it with the left. Remember, he's going to send the enemy within, is what he called it. And so he created these scapegoats for people to be mad at, and hey, elect me to go because I'll do awful things to these people that you're upset with. And people bought it. What you got here?
Yeah, I just thought this might be fun. We can just put their pictures up. So some people they're more like, maybe they're more into what these people look like than what their names are. Might just so everyone knows. Yeah, Pinworm. Right now, the way that the Republicans have seized control on such an absolute level, it is very much in a place where whoever Trump wants is getting in.
Sure.
So there's still some people hanging on to the idea that like, oh, he can nominate whoever he wants. It doesn't mean they're going to get the job. It actually almost kind of does. Yeah. There may be only one person on this list that we're looking at that might maybe have some pushback from Republicans.
And thank you for the $2 super chat, Pinworm. I truly appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's whatever he wants, and now that he is going to have control of the House and the Senate, both. I mean, it is literally whatever he wants for the country he can get done. And most of these Congress people, we already know the House backs Trump on everything to the most absurd nonsense. They're trying to pass laws to say that illegal or undocumented immigrants can't vote, which was already a thing. Like, but they're still trying to pass laws because Trump said it. Christy Nome.
Captain Dave there, Captain Desk. Someone just posted on Facebook, we aren't getting a cabinet, we're getting a junk drawer.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like that.
It's funny. It's unfortunate. This is such a weird time because if this wasn't so extreme, it would just be funny.
Yeah.
Like 2016 Trump, this was just funny. But this is getting a little bit extreme here. Like Stephen Colbert created an entire cartoon based on Trump's 2016 presidency. I would wager he's not going to bring back the same cartoon for this presidency because that would just be weird. Let's talk about, okay, so here's that Pete Hegseth, the new Secretary of Defense. He's a weekend Fox News host, arguably not even a Fox News host, but like a Fox and Friends guy. Those guys are pretty crazy too, but I don't know too much about them. I could be wrong, but I believe Marco Rubio is maybe the one person Trump has nominated that actually isn't that far-fetched. As far as Republicans go, he's extreme, but
I think he must have owed him something, is what I think.
Yeah, because Rubio was dunking on Trump pretty hard.
Yeah.
As far as Republicans who were claiming Trump to be like Hitler and things like that, Rubio was really against Trump.
I mean, as far as Republicans, I mean, if you're going to pick a Republican for Secretary of State, Rubio isn't the worst they could have done, obviously. I don't care for him, and I think he's a warmonger, kind of, but, Rubio is all about sending troops to attack people who disagree with us and all kinds of stuff, which is bad. Don't get me wrong. It's really bad, but he's not like batshit crazy like some of them. This isn't such an ironic pick. It's like, okay, I can see him doing that. Rubio's been there for a while. He does have popularity among Republicans. He does have respect among Republicans, unlike some of the others who just aren't even respected by their own party. I mean, and like Secretary of Defense for what's her name? It's like he had to know that everybody was going to make the joke. Yeah, she'll defend us if a herd of puppies decides to come into America. Like it's
or
Homeland Security, not defense. I'm sorry. It's just wild. I can't believe that he picked her. Like, she lied about meeting with Kim Jong-un just
for clout. How is that clout even? I don't even know. But
I hung out with with one of the worst people in the world. Yeah.
So here's a picture of Tulsi Gabbard, the first person we were talking about, Director of National Intelligence. She's basically like in the pocket of most of the countries that America needs to be the most concerned about.
And it's the opposite of intelligence.
In fact, here we go. A veteran and a former Democrat congressman, I guess, who promoted conspiracies about the U.S. involvement in Ukraine. So she's a conspiracy theorist to boot. She's in charge of America's intelligence now. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So let's talk about the next two guys.
No.
We'll stop with Matt Gaetz.
I wish you had the picture of him speaking at the RNC
after his Botox. Yeah, I mean, that's an easy picture to find. Google Matt Gaetz Botox RNC and hang on to your chair if you haven't seen it. But so Matt Gaetz. So here's what I heard. And when I say that that's my segue into possibly rumor. But part of this story, we got to go down to another person that's been nominated. Is this woman here? So Susie Wild. So Susie Wild has been nominated for chief of staff. She was also Donald Trump's presidential campaign manager. So if you wanted to know why Trump won so hard, she's actually probably the reason, which means despite the fact that she put a fascist dictator in the path of freedom, she did her job incredibly well.
Yeah.
So
no.
Here we are. We have to respect her intelligence, even if she's on the wrong side of the fence. She would be like, if Cobra Commander is the idiot, she's Destro. She's the one that actually knows what's up. Now, here's what I heard. She's on a plane, private flight with Trump and Gates. She left the room. So she's one of those people that is constantly in Trump's ear saying, don't say this, don't say that, do say this, let's not do that, right? So what I heard was she was on the flight with Matt Gaetz and Trump, left the room, came back, and Gates is Attorney General.
Yeah.
So, like, what?
And again, I think this is part of like Trump kind of owed favors, because remember, Matt Gaetz was expecting to get a pardon when Trump left office.
Yeah, so we can probably infer or improv even the conversation that Gates and Trump had when Wilds left the room. So the conversation goes like this. Gates goes, gonna lose my job on Friday, today, because there's a huge investigation into Gates literally sex trafficking a minor. In other words, like, he paid an Uber to have a 17-year-old girl come to him from out of state so he could have sex with them. And he did so without very little, like, he's not very quiet about it.
No.
I heard someone say him actually bragging about, like, taking VD pills, like mainlining VD pills.
On the House floor, he did that.
And showed with an energy drink and stuff, just so he could go all night. You know what I mean? Like, so this report was due to come out today.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the conversation I imagine took place between Gates and Trump on that plane. Gates is like, I'm going to lose my job on Friday and possibly go to jail. And Trump is like,
Trump?
Yeah. And so then Trump's like, well, we can fix that. And then Gates,
well, like, Matt, you see, Matt, the thing is, Matt, and people are always saying, you see, I've got these charges and I'm being investigated. And if I just had an attorney general that would take care of those things for me.
Well, I would be your attorney general if I could use it to help fix some of my problems.
Yeah.
What do you think, Trump?
Yeah. Matt, you're attorney general. Susie, come back.
Okay, give me a moment. Tweets, I quit. And quits his job. So now Gates quits the second he's attorney general. Why? Because then there'd be no reason for the investigation to be released. He's already not working there, so it's fine. Now, I've heard they could still vote to release it, the investigation and all that stuff, but it won't matter because now Gates can just whitewash his own crimes and Trump's crimes. And again, for Trump, this is great because Gates will do this stuff. It'll be questionable, maybe even illegal. He may get sued into the Stone Age, and then Trump will go, well, Gates, I'm going to have to let you go because you did some bad things while you were in charge. But he won't walk any of it back.
Yeah, what happened to Trump's first cabinet, right?
Yeah.
He fired them all. So here's Matt Gaetz. This is probably one of the most corrupt and sinister picks that he made. I think.
And he's the one that I mentioned before. If there was Republicans to push back on any of Trump's choices, this is the one. There's people like the Republican senator of Alaska even was like, this is a joke. I don't think this is real. Like, this isn't going to happen. Like, she's in awe about, like, Gates can't be attorney general.
Here's the only thing I have to say is push back on that, though, is that if there was a chance that Republicans weren't going to confirm him in the Senate, he wouldn't have resigned. I don't think.
No, because it's because of that report. So he may have still resigned because resigning might stop the report from coming out. So he might have waited till the last second. He might have resigned this morning then.
Yeah.
Instead, but knowing that he had that position,
I don't think he would have resigned over the report. I think he would have just said it wasn't true and they were liars, and because he wasn't going to be charged, and Republicans weren't going to remove him and give up, their the number of seats that they have. They're not going to just give up a seat, which is what would happen if they did it that way.
Yeah, basically, if you're appointed for a Trump cabinet position right now and you actually get in, you're being set up. He's not doing you a favor. These people should be like, I'm not qualified to be attorney general. Like, how can this doesn't make sense? Because you're not expected to make it the 4 years. He is not expecting you to make it the 4 years.
Yeah, Trump operates the government like a mafia crime family, right? And these people that he's appointing now are just the fall guys. They're just the guy that gets caught holding the gun. It's under their pillow, Yeah. Like that's what this is.
I'm going to scroll up really slow to the next one.
And for Gates, though, it saves him from that. So, yeah, before we address that, Gates, this ethics report, as everybody knows, Gates engaged in sex trafficking and was sleeping with underage girls and paying them over Venmo. And this is all documented. They came and they testified to as much. And this report is actually property of the people of the United States, technically.
Is it, though, until it's released? Before it's released, it isn't.
Well, because it's an active investigation, they don't release it. But it's always property. Anything that is made by our government is property of the United States people. And that report will go to the United States Archive. But when and who will have access to it is kind of different. The ethics committee, once Gates resigned, they no longer have the authority or they don't have the authority to do anything about the report because he's not there. But that doesn't mean that they can't pull it in to his confirmation hearing and subpoena it from the ethics committee as to show that it's a fraud and stuff. Like there's ways that this could still resurface. Now, a lot of the pundits and stuff think that they even Republicans will go along and let them bring this ethics report out, but I don't think they are. And I think there's a really bad thing here, because you're going to see with your own eyes, you're going to see at these confirmation hearings, if they even have them, you're going to see Republicans defending a sex trafficker and pedophile. And if this report is able to make it into it, there's going to be factual information that proves he is these things. And they're going to have to say, we don't care. We want a sex trafficker to be the Secretary of State or the Attorney General. Sorry, I keep messing up the titles. And I think that this is one of the most sinister, corrupt moves that Trump has made so far. And there he is. There's your guy. I like the little picture better.
That's nothing more than that's the face of innocence right there.
that's it. But I mean, it's really just that is one of the picks. Like even the one we're coming to, which is more fun to talk about, and there's more jokes to be made. This one is the one that just feels like it's the most corrupt thing he could do, and this will be the most consequential one.
Yeah, I think this is also the one where, like, before the Republicans open the revolving door, they'll be like, wait. let's talk about this one at least for a minute.
You think?
Yeah, this will be
I
the
don't.
one. This will be the only one, if anything, that they stop to
I
talk
think
for a second. I'm not saying
I,
they'll say no. I'm just saying they're going to say, "Hold on, let's think about this for a sec."
I think within the next 24 hours, the major Republicans all come out and defend Matt Gaetz. Is what I think. I think they will 100% defend him. There might be one or two that says something, but I think overall they're going to support him 100%. They're going to come out and say that they're going to fight the release of this report, and they're going to fight anybody being able to say anything about those charges before the confirmation hearing even starts. I think all that's going to happen in the next 24 to 48 hours. Well, it's the weekend, right? Maybe Monday. But yeah, that's my opinion. You know, I don't get things right all the time, but this next guy I did.
Yeah, so this is probably the biggest one to be concerned about, honestly.
Yeah.
So RFK Jr. as the Health and Human Services. The damage he is going to cause is going to be far-reaching through time. What this guy wants to do is pure insanity. He's literally on record saying that there is no vaccine that has ever been demonstrated to be 100% effective, which clearly demonstrates he doesn't know how vaccines work. He has actually said that if you come to Canada and look at the ingredients list on a package, we'll have 3 ingredients. And if you come to America, there's like 18 ingredients.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Canada does ban certain ingredients and some of the things. He wants to ban the ones that are meaningless. He doesn't want to ban the ones that are actually like, that would be a good one to ban. He wants to ban the things that like don't really make any difference to anything. He wants to remove the fluoride from the drinking water. I mean, the list for the things that he wants to do is going to cause a lot of health problems for Americans.
I always thought the number one sign of a crazy QAnon conspiracy theorist was the fluoride thing. Honestly, like,
Yeah.
Like I think RFK, some of the things he says would qualify to be the topic on Maya's Bad Science Sunday. Like it's that extreme. Like it's that far out there. Which,
Americans,
by the way, guys, Bad Science Sunday, amazing show. Maya Atkinson.
Yeah,
But
agreed. I would nominate her for a Trump cabinet spot for sure.
yes, Secretary of Goddesses.
Yep. Americans have been crushed by the industrial food complex and drug companies who have engaged in deception, misinformation, and disinformation when it comes to public health.
Yeah.
Could that sentence ring any more alarm bells for conspiracy?
No doubt. And you know, we talked about like the irony and the appointing people who are exactly the opposite of what the position should require. And RFK is the poster child for that, right? Like we have a conspiracy theorist, anti-vax, you know, who promotes medical disinformation and conspiracy theory over facts, has been appointed to the HHS position. And you know, one of the things that Trump was very specific about when he said he was appointing RFK to this position, which again, let me remind you, he did do for those of you in the know, when he said he was going to do that, he said that he wanted him to specifically control women's health. And
oh my God, really?
Yeah. He said that RFK is going to take care of women's health. And and he mentioned the nutrition thing like in a joke. He always said like, "Oh, he's gonna fix our food and get some of the stuff out of our food and handle nutrition and health." But I told him to leave the oil alone. That liquid gold is mine. Don't touch the liquid gold. you know, that he made a joke out of it that way. But when he was specifically talking about why he wanted to appoint him, it was women's health.
Yeah, women's health needs attention. It doesn't need his attention.
No, no. He needs
For years,
qualified.
Robert Kennedy Jr. has promoted the theory that preservative thimerosal has largely been phased out of modern vaccine formulas, appears to be responsible for the rise in autism diagnoses. Like, he's that guy.
This okay, so this was a thing for a while, right? I just
Yeah.
spit everywhere when I said that. This was a thing for a while where people were saying there was a link between autism and vaccines. And this was actually debunked completely. They put the money in and did the studies that debunked this idea completely. But it's continued, especially in QAnon and stuff, which RFK was very much QAnon before he started running. He doesn't speak of that now, but he's everything that they would want. You know, the extremists. This is playing to the extremists and giving them what they want.
Yeah. Kennedy Jr. was caught on camera in July of 2023 telling fellow deniers that COVID-19 is targeted to attack Caucasians and Black people, and the people who are most immune are Jews and Chinese. Tell that to all the dead Jews and Chinese.
Medical disinformation. That's his bread and butter, man.
In an X post, he said the FDA wages a war on public health that includes aggressive suppression of products that advance human health and can't be permitted by the pharmaceutical industry. I'm not even sure what that means. Is he suggesting that the pharmaceutical industry has like Captain America style drugs that they're holding back from Americans? Is that what he's trying to say?
Yes. He thinks that there's like different, like the drugs are targeted against certain people. Yeah. That some are harmful and there are good ones.
This is just for the record, guys. We're not just looking into RFK for fun shits and giggles. This is your new health and human services guy in America. So Kennedy Jr. has promoted the disproven conspiracy that 5G cellular networks and advanced wireless technology standard for mobile phones allows governments to collect user data and control their behavior. He doesn't even believe the 5G conspiracy theory that 5G conspiracy theorists believe, which is that it's microwaving your brains. He thinks it's controlling people.
This one has been put forward too. Both of those have been put forward by QAnon. And
he does believe that. Yeah, on Joe Rogan, he said that the Wi-Fi radiation causes cancer. Yeah.
Yeah. RFK was big time QAnon, and whenever he decided to run, before he partnered up with Trump, he started to kind of separate himself from those things. He was out there further than Marjorie Taylor Greene, and what happened is, and I think the reason that he's been appointed was when RFK originally ran, it was to help Trump because they thought that it would take away the third party votes were going to take away from Democrats. But as things progressed, they realized that the third party votes were going to take away from Trump. So he asked him to end his campaign, stop campaigning, and to join him and to endorse him. And if he did so much, he would give him health and human services, that he couldn't have the environment because Trump wants to do away with all the regulations and all that stuff. We didn't talk about the anti-environmental guy that he appointed as head of the EPA, but
oh yeah, we should look at him too.
RFK wanted to impose more regulations and wants to take care of the environment. That's one area, and although there is still a lot of conspiracy theory and stuff, and that worm is in his brain doing its worm thing. Although all those things are there, RFK did care about the environment in the past and did say some helpful things. Now, again, he's still batshit crazy and has said a lot of science denial things and stuff like that too. But
Yeah, you're just trying to represent him a little bit more honestly. That like he's not. Yeah, I get it. Carrie Ann Chrysler makes a really great point there. That RFK would be just an even more insane choice if it wasn't for the rest of the pool, right? So if you put him next to the other batshit crazy people that Trump is nominating, it's kind of right in line. If this was the only batshit crazy nomination Trump was making, this would be even more extreme and weird.
See, I don't think this, Maya. I know what you're talking about. And when RFK did, when he did realize he wasn't going to be on the ballots and his campaign was going to fail and he was ready to quit, he did approach Kamala first about trying to fish for a position. But him and Trump had already talked about this. Trump had already tried to get him to endorse him and made promises to him. That it's recorded on video. That happened way before he offered to do it for Kamala.
Yeah, look,
And
I want nothing more than the people who are like, yeah, it's not a real nomination, it'll never happen and stuff. I'm so hoping. I mean, if I thought it would help, I'd pray that this doesn't happen. Because you guys don't even have the health care to like take care of yourselves after the backlash of this crap.
that's about to get really bad. Also, that thing with RFK though, like, yes, it's a different situation because he wasn't going to quit his campaign at that point. He was still he turned Trump down because he was still going to go. And then whenever it turned around, he did contact Kamala first when he was the one reaching out. That's true. But Trump had made an offer prior to that. And it looks like, he turned around and took that.
Kennedy Jr. blamed school shootings on drugs like antidepressants Prozac in a recent X Space discussion, telling owner Elon Musk, prior to the introduction of Prozac, we had almost none of these events.
Yeah, right.
He is connecting some dots that don't exist.
I'm telling you, this is all QAnon stuff. Everything that you're reading is stuff that QAnon goes around promoting. Maya's probably familiar with a lot of this stuff. This is straight QAnon conspiracy theory stuff, all of it.
He's been convinced of election fraud for 20 years at this point.
Yeah.
He's off his rocker, batshit nuts.
Yeah. He's one of the more there's a lot of incompetency and a lot of corrupt people, but he's probably the crazy one of the bunch, right? Because we've got to have one of each, right? We've got the guy with the worm in his head that likes to put dead animals in the park as pranks. We've got the puppy shooter. We've got the pedophile sex trafficker. We've got the Fox and Friends understudy that is a misogynist. I mean, we've hit all of the we've hit them all here, right? I mean, every bad quality that you have, he has one of them.
Well, we haven't hit them all yet, though.
Right, Stephen Miller, right? He's the xenophobic one.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the one I believe said that when Trump says jump 3 feet, you just jump 3 feet.
No, that was a senator. Is that him?
Here's
he's Zeldin, yeah.
Yeah, here's your EPA guy anyway. So Trump chose former New York rep Lee Zeldin to serve as his pick for the Environmental Protection Agency. Zeldin does not appear to have any experience in environmental issues, but a longtime supporter of the former president. He represents Long Island in the House of Representatives. Before he left to run for governor, during his time in Congress, he frequently voted against environmental-friendly bills. The 44-year-old former U.S. House member from New York wrote on X, "We will restore U.S. energy dominance, revitalize our auto industry to bring back American jobs, and make the U.S. a global leader of AI. We will do so with protecting access to clean air and water," he added. So the only part of this entire post as the new EPA guy is, yeah, we're going to do all this like energy dominance and car worker jobs and stuff. Oh, and we'll look at the air and water. Don't worry.
It was Representative of Nails that said the jump 3 feet thing.
Okay.
Just to be clear.
Yeah. So when I read the words bring back energy dominance and the auto industry, I see two things that are very, very harmful to the environment if he takes the path I think he'll take. His energy dominance to me screams, let's build coal power plants like China does. Like, let's just put them up everywhere, which will be interesting since you guys also get a lot of your coal from us here in Canada, which will now have a 10% tariff on. So enjoy your new hydro bills.
I mean, coal going away, or the decline of coal, is one of the things that contributed to the area I live in being so poor.
Right. Which is unfortunate,
I mean,
but it's, you know, it's kind of one of those necessary evils.
Yeah. Eastern Kentucky, especially like the coal fields, the Pike County area, and then into West Virginia and stuff in that area was where a big portion of the coal was coming from in this country up until they opened the places, the mines up. I think it's North Dakota. Until they opened those, this area was the number one spot for coal in the country. And at the decline of coal, I mean, used to the highways here and the train tracks, you've seen coal all day long going everywhere. I mean, wow. You go out and you drive down the highway and see 20 coal trucks. Now you don't see not one. So I mean, but see, I'm not saying I'm pro coal. I'm just saying like,
I'll give you a personal example that may not even be a very popular idea, but the Postal Service. When I think of expensive services that are no longer really truly needed anymore, mailmen. Now, the reason why that's not a popular idea is because how many mailmen are there employed between our two countries?
Exactly.
Like thousands, like tens of thousands probably. So there'd be a lot of people that are going to, you know, would essentially be out of a job if we didn't need them anymore or use them anymore. Because honestly, you know what mail I get is just more junk mail, which is just more wasted paper. Like, I really don't see much.
Well, our government had to bail out the Postal Service here.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
it was too big to fail.
It would be unfortunate for all those people to be out of a job. But I also believe that they could also just like, you know, there could be programs in place to help them transition to new employment. There could be ways for them to, you know, figure out different
I got a better idea.
Work. I mean, yeah, what's the better idea?
So look at the phone companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Landlines are rare now overall. People either have VoIP service,
yep,
or they have internet and cell phones. People don't generally have landlines now. They're a lot less common. And the phone companies have all these lines and everything that they've owned forever. But now the phone companies don't even focus on selling you landline service. Their focus is to sell DSL high-speed internet.
Mm-hmm.
And while I think that's still probably something that's going to eventually be phased out too, they were able to adapt into an area where they could be of some use.
I haven't heard the words DSL in 10 years myself.
It's still quite common here. In fact, I had DSL internet whenever I first started streaming. And they have fast DSL now. Also, the phone company now owns fiber lines too. So DSL is just as fast as cable in some aspects in some places. But it's not truly DSL anymore at that point. But that's the thing the phone companies are getting into. They're getting into internet. And so the Postal Service, they've got this force. They've got the vehicles, they've got the sorting facilities, they've got the ability to still be able to assist in commerce. They just need to quit focusing on stamps and personal letters, right?
Yeah.
They need to adapt and grow.
Yeah,
But
they should be just focus on their actual parcels perhaps, and like
yeah, I
downsize a
mean they
little
ship
bit.
for
Get
Amazon a lot now.
Yeah, get more efficient. Um, we don't need the junk mail. Like, do we? Do we need the flyers in the
No,
mail?
no.
Like, honestly, um, and all my bills come via email now, and like, yeah, I see my mailman, and I get really annoyed when I have to go out and shovel a path just for the mailman to bring me garbage. That's the way I feel. Honestly, I want to put a hole in the bottom of my mailbox and just put the recycling bin underneath the mailbox. So that when
No doubt.
he puts the thing in the mailbox, it just goes straight into the recycling.
Yeah.
And anyways, that brings us to we were on the energy dominance part, which, like I said, will probably be more like coal and burning fuels, and then the American job auto industry thing. I mean, the whole world will always need cars, but that doesn't really help the environment. Um, I wish they would promote more electric vehicles, at least hybrid. Now that I have my first hybrid now, I don't know if I told you I just bought a hybrid. Now that I have my first hybrid, how amazing is this thing? I get the same gas in it that I bought a month ago. Like, I haven't put any gas in it at all. It's nuts.
Has
How
Trump appointed anyone to education yet?
No, so shit, I forget. There's a woman he was going to appoint to education, but he hasn't officially done so yet. But there is a department that doesn't exist. He appointed 2 guys to. Are you familiar with this? You heard about this?
Do what now?
Um, I think he called it the Department
Oh,
of
efficiency.
Efficiency.
Elon Musk and Ramaswamy, Vivek. Yeah.
Yeah. So these two open.
It's not going to be a government job, though. It's going to be a temporary job, he said. So
Yeah.
essentially, they're going to be consultants that he pays.
Yeah. So everyone here, hopefully, if you haven't, you'll go see it after I say it. But anyone here who's seen Office Space, the whole movie is about an efficiency company that comes in to like figure out what jobs are redundant and not redundant and stuff. Trump has literally put, like, not literally, I guess, but similarly put 2 people that were equally as qualified as the 2 Dumbos in the movie Office Space to come in and make the place more efficient. So these 2 people are supposed to now go through with a fine-tooth comb, fire and eliminate all of the departments, agencies, and employees that they deem irrelevant or redundant or just an expense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know he plans to dismantle the Department of Education, but they plan to replace it with a different department. So there's somebody that he's planning to have in that
They'll
position.
still have to appoint somebody to do that,
Yeah, he'll have to put someone in charge of dismantling it.
Yeah. These 2, though, so what you said, Elon Musk recently said, and this is it's not a direct quote, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he said that he could cut our budget by over $2 trillion. He can cut a $6.4 trillion budget by $2 trillion. Taking away $2 trillion just like that, like just saying we're going to cut $2 trillion, we know that they want to do away with Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, and all that stuff. We know that they want to get rid of those things. But you're going to cut a third of our budget just out of nowhere. Like, that would completely destroy the economy and our government of having any function.
Oh my God. The unemployment rate alone of federal employees joining the lines to get their unemployment checks, like, your unemployment rate is going to skyrocket.
Yeah, Maya, he could cut, a big chunk of that money from the defense budget. He could actually cut all of it from the defense, but well, not all of it. They don't have the $6 trillion there, or $2 trillion. I don't think. I think they're something trillion. I'll have to look for that number. Sorry, but they could do it from the defense budget. But we know that Republicans are the ones that always want to. I mean, they're all for the defense defense budget actually, but Republicans are hardcore about increasing the defense budget. So
Do you think
I
that
don't look for that to be where he's going to cut a single penny from. In fact, they may cut stuff and add it to the defense.
Do you think that Elon will show up to work on his first day?
Did I robot out there?
Yeah, you did. Do you think that Elon will show up carrying a sink on his first day? I mean, he did cut Twitter down to a single letter and 80% of its staff.
Yes, he did cut all the other letters from Twitter.
Yeah, and replaced it with just an X.
I love that. That was fun.
But you know, it's one thing to just walk in and nonchalantly just be like, yeah, you're done, you're done, you're done, you're done, you're done, than to actually put thought into it. Because a lot of these things are going to be like programs and things too that, like, you know, that are important to some people. And I have a feeling that some of it will also be the infrastructure bill, which I know one thing that I'm a huge advocate for is people's ability to connect. And I've heard that even though there's some great places for internet in America, there is a larger part of your country has been neglected when it comes to internet. I've even heard a story of one town that literally has to fill up a school bus full of kids so that they could drive it to the edge of town where they can pick up like a public Wi-Fi connection from another city because they can't get internet from their homes, and they do homework on their bus with their laptops to get internet for 3 hours on a school bus. Like that to me is so third world, yet not third world. Like it's so, oh my God.
I lived in a place where we would go and down to the community college and sit in the parking lot to use the internet, or to McDonald's, because we didn't have internet where we were. You couldn't get it.
Internet to me is no longer a privilege.
Elon still wants everybody to have internet, but he
wants them to have his internet.
Cut infrastructure so that he can send them all to Starlink.
Yeah.
Because you don't need infrastructure for Starlink.
Well, you would. Just he wouldn't have to pay for it anymore.
Right.
You could get the government to pay for it.
The satellites are already there. His private company would be handling it again.
Yeah. Well, he's got to launch more and more satellites to get global coverage. He's launching satellites all the time.
That's already in the plans, though.
No, I know.
Private companies handling that. That's not government speak. But you're right. He would make it a government program, right?
Somehow. I'm also sure he's going to get some NASA contracts out of this too.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
In fact, I would be surprised if they didn't just do away with NASA over this.
Oh, man.
Or give it to him. Just make him head of NASA.
You know what? I don't know enough about NASA to know if actually that would be a huge problem. I mean, see, now you're going to make me defend Elon, and I don't want you to, because that's
so. Let me give a caveat, and then maybe you won't have to.
Okay.
So I think that Elon, from a technology perspective, I think that him owning SpaceX has been beneficial. But if you try to run NASA like a business for profit, there's a problem, because NASA necessarily operates at a loss for the benefit of discovery and technology.
Yeah.
If you're just focused on the bottom line, NASA is a horrible idea.
Yeah.
NASA benefits us down the road.
Yeah, the advantages Elon brings to SpaceX is his insane, batshit crazy imagination. And because it's a business, he can walk in and make an absurd demand that it needs to be resolved and solved. And therefore, he pushes for advancement.
Yeah.
That same attitude isn't going to necessarily work in NASA, because actually, I think you just kind of, the key word there is exploration. NASA's more interested in the, like, what's behind that thing over there and what's that over there, where Elon's just would be way too like, who cares? Just show me how we can mine an asteroid. That's all I want.
It's the discoveries that NASA has made that allows SpaceX to even exist, right?
Fair enough.
Like they're always pushing the frontier of discovery, because that's how we improve technology, by learning new things that we can do. And the biggest provider of that new technology has been NASA. I mean, they have they're responsible for so much of our technology now. So there's, if you run it like a company, it's the opposite is the goal, though, right? Because then no matter what, you answer to investors and the bottom line. So it's always about making money. NASA can't, you can't go take the risk to study something that is completely all risk in a business. NASA can do that, though, right? They can take their money and use it to go do something that may have no return, but they'll learn something. Elon, on the other hand, can't take that kind of risk. About as far as he can go is shooting a car into space.
Yeah. And Vivek is like, he just needs to trip a little bit on a shoelace and he'll be a full-blown Christian nationalist.
Well, he'll end up if he trips, he'll probably end up with his head in Trump's ass.
Yeah. But anyways, these guys are probably just as dangerous as RFK at this point, because
if not more.
Yeah, because there was a bill passed during Trump's 2016 election or presidency that allowed the president to fire any federal employee, of which I believe there's something like 50,000 federal employees. So if Elon and Vivek go in and destroy half of those jobs or a third of those jobs, that's like 15,000 people hitting the unemployment line. Not to mention that the programs that they would just have abolished that were probably super important programs. Yeah. And then this is getting, I've been saying it since day one. It's getting concerning here.
Yeah.
And then the final thing that I heard discussion about, and I don't know if it was in Project 2025 or not. By the way, PC, thank you for all of this paperwork. I'm enjoying reading this. One of the things that I heard, and like I said, I don't know if it's in Project 2025 and that's where I got it from or whatever. I really need to pay closer attention to the things where I hear these things or read these things or whatever. But Trump's mass deportation, I've now heard some details on how he plans to tackle this. He wants to use the National Guard to go and round up all these illegal aliens. Now, the National Guard is every state has their own National Guard controlled by the state. So they would first start with the red states and get the National Guard to go out and collect illegal aliens and whatnot, and evacuate or evict, if you will, deport. Here's the part that gets really concerning. He then wants to take the same National Guard from the red states, have them invade the blue states to do the same thing.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to send a message. I was listening.
Okay. So imagine, for example, Pennsylvania National Guard walking into New York to gather up illegal aliens.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's what he's proposing. He's not just National Guard either. He's I just got a message saying that Republicans have said they will confirm Matt Gaetz. Yeah, because he knew that there would be pushbacks in the cities from Democratic-held cities about going and just gathering up people. Like, how do you do that? How do you make a warrantless arrest on people and detain them? Like, so that's why he's saying, well, he wants to allow the military to do it. And there's been word that he's been discussing with his transition people of how exactly to go about authorizing the military to be the ones to go around and detain these illegal immigrants.
Yeah, but having one state's National Guard essentially infiltrate another state,
yeah,
that is, to me, the first move in a civil war.
Yeah, I mean, it very well could be. I mean, because there are, like, California, Gavin Newsom came out immediately and said, don't fuck with us. You're not
Yeah.
going to do these
Yeah, and
things.
he's trying to put bills and laws in place to help protect too.
Yeah.
But when I heard that, I was like, this can't be real. Like, there's just having one state go up against another state, like force themselves in to be like, we're here for your illegal aliens, is just absurd.
Yeah.
It's 100% against the Constitution. It's against the American idea. That's not American.
But no, it's against the Constitution. I mean, like, it's
Yeah.
because he doesn't, the National Guard, right? There's ways to activate the National Guard. He wants to send in armed military, though. Like, also, he wants to send in the army. Like, he wants to
Robin,
send
come on
actual
up if you
troops.
want. You are not being replaced. This was just a moment of inspiration because Joe and I were on a Discord where we're like, hey, RFK was mentioned, and we were like, let's not just have this conversation amongst ourselves in private. Let's put it on stage for everyone to throw up with us. So you're not being replaced. In fact, come on up if you want.
Yeah, you're welcome to come on, Robin. Do you want me to send you a link? I can send it to
Yeah.
your email real fast. I think we're probably nearing the end, though. Honestly.
Yeah, that was pretty much the last thing development that I heard that I wanted to like talk about because
Justice for Robin.
yeah.
Like, Maya's the first one to get me, right?
Yeah.
Justice for Robin.
We're doing a demonstration of what it would be like if Trump sent a red state's National Guard into a blue state's to collect their immigrants.
Yeah, I mean,
And he's not being cute about it. He's doing a whole lot of like shoot now, ask questions later in this policy, this idea of a mass deportation, because I heard like even American born children from the immigrants will also just be like, get them out. Which again, not American, like such not an American thing. Yeah, he's kind of like, I don't care if you're a citizen, but if I think you're gonna have to go.
yeah. That's remember I talked about the Aliens Act of 1798 and how that's what he's going to use it for, because it's not only the act that he's going to use to say that he can legally deport these people and use the military to do it. He's going to use it to also deport people who speak out against him. Like, that's part of it, because if you're criticizing the government or saying bad things about how the government's operated, you can actually be detained under this Sedition Act. Yeah, and imprisoned over it or deported.
Yeah, actually, PC brings up one more interesting one, which is a little bit more lighthearted, which could be kind of fun way to end off on is, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the Comstock Act. So he wants to bring in this old law that it's illegal to basically mail drugs to people using the mail system, but it has this weird side effect of including this being a thing that will help prevent abortions, and then it goes even further where it will even prevent possibly could be interpreted to prevent things like pornography and stuff as well. I'm trying to imagine America without pornography. I just can't see it.
We all know it's always like every accusation is an admission of guilt from them, right? Every
Yeah.
accusation is a confession. But I mean, really, whenever you sit, and it's like this party where he's appointing all these people that are sexual predators in some way, himself being found liable of rape, and allegations, at least 26 more allegations of sexual assault and rape against women, whether it be through Jeffrey Epstein or whatever. There's a bunches of them out there against Trump. All of these things. Meanwhile, they sit and call the left groomers, and it's just reached these levels of clear hate. I mean, there's Trump has embraced the idea, and we talked about Susie Wiles briefly. She's been well known for a number of years, but not talked about that often because she doesn't do a lot of public stuff.
Yeah,
But
she's the woman behind the man in this case.
yeah, she's been known, for a lot of her racist and xenophobic positions on things. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're not purposely looking for ways to stir people up into a frenzy.
You think it's a misdirection? Kind of look over here at this thing you're really pissed off about, so that you're not paying attention over here for this thing that you probably don't need to worry
No,
about.
I think the stupidity and stuff is the misdirection, and that other stuff is the point. I think the xenophobia, racism, and bigotry is the point. I think the stupid things he says about cats and dogs and RFK and all that stuff, I think that is the distraction.
Okay.
But I accept that this is just my opinion, just based on the things I see, and you could use this reasonable as evidence to point to other things too. So I'm not saying that it's necessarily the case, but I'm not giving him credit at all. I don't think it's him. I think Trump is the one with the idea about the hate and stuff, but I think it's the people around him that are responsible for the design. I think for Trump, it's simple. It's about retribution, racism, and bigotry. I think,
Trump's the steam engine, but it's the rest of the people behind him, the authors of 2025 and all that stuff, that are like throwing the coal in the fire and like adding the train cars and everything. Trump is almost as much of a puppet, I think, because I don't think he's smart enough to pull this off on his own either way.
No, I think that's exactly the case. I think that Trump has that they're willing to let Trump promote his ideas of hate and bigotry to get him into office so that they can follow through with all the other things that Project 2025 has that can affect voting and things like that, so that they can retain power, because it's always about retaining power. And they don't care what state that puts the country in, or how much chaos it causes, or what lies they have to tell to do it. They don't care who they hurt doing it, as long as they can retain power. And I think that's obvious. I think going back to 2016, after the 2016 election, we went on these 365 days a year election cycles now. These people are campaigning for office always. They're always trying to get the little soundbite in the House on their committees. They're always trying to just say something crazy so that they can get on camera and then promote the other stuff. And that bigotry and hate is actually at the heart of all of it. I think that they're using that, though, as a tool to retain power. And unfortunately, our country is in a position to where it's working. And that's the really sad and frustrating part about it for me, is that we have so many Americans that will embrace this, because you can't say that Trump is great for policies and just ignore the other stuff. Like you can't say, oh, well, he's good for the economy, when the whole time the only thing he talks about is deporting brown people. So
yeah. One policy doesn't whitewash the other.
Right. So it's a sad state of things that Americans would vote a fascist authoritarian with wishes of bigotry and racism in his head. But that's where we're at, and we got to hang on and keep fighting. We got to organize, and we got to come together, and we have to work together. Probably just to survive, maybe, but we definitely can't just throw our hands up in the air and say this is crazy and not do anything. Like we have to come together and still stand for the things that matter. And there may be consequences to that in the future, but
this is gonna be.
Isn't that awful that you have to say such a thing? Like,
I mean, my biggest concern. It's not even a concern. It's the reality. The part that bothers me the most, it pisses me off the most, and concerns me the most is that this isn't just a hang on tight, this will be over in 4 years kind of thing.
Hang on and fight. It's more like that.
This is going to whatever is on deck about to happen to America is going to be something that's going to take you guys 40 or 60 years to recover from.
Oh yeah, we've been set back immensely. It's bad.
And if Joe and I were to be, if we were to put ourselves as shared generation, like if you and I were to put ourselves in one type of generation, it's the generation that didn't really have to deal with any hard world wars. We've had it pretty easy our whole life, right? Yeah. Like if I could not imagine being in a World War II society, like what it was like back then. It's terrible to think about the poverty and the death and everything that took place during,
I guess,
the Second World War.
The most
and even then, that's an event. It was a moment in history, a terrible one that we lived through. But like, I think what's coming is a multi-year, like, terrible stuff coming and it's going to last for years. I'm wrong about a lot of things, and I feel like putting it out in the universe right now means hopefully I'll be wrong. But I think Trump is going to take us with him to some places none of us want to go. And
I want to address something real quick.
Yeah.
Skeptically pissed. I haven't seen a politician in years who has done anything for the middle class. All politicians are corrupt, and I'm not too sure how we fix it. So I'm going to push back against you a little bit here, skeptically pissed. That is the optic that a lot of people have. And when it comes to elections, maybe the optic is really the most important thing in electing somebody, if you can make people think they should elect them, no matter what they do. But what you're saying, we had some consequences after COVID, right? Inflation occurred worldwide, and America actually fared much better than other countries. And we had some supply issues and some problems, and the economy bounced back from that, and we've had one of the most successful economies. And the middle class has been growing, and they received an increase in minimum wage. I think there were a lot of things done for the middle class. They just, it wasn't a quick fix. Biden was originally running on finishing the job, and the whole plan with Biden was to build it from the bottom and middle, right? He was focused completely on making rich people pay their fair share and supporting the middle class. That was his whole platform. Unfortunately, our government came to a standstill because of the numbers in the House and Senate, because the country is so divided, nothing could get done from either side. But I will say, the Republicans didn't really attempt to get anything done. That being said, though, all politicians are corrupt is not true. There are some politicians who are not. Corruption is a big problem in our government and needs to be addressed and should be prosecuted when laws are broken, no matter which side they're on. I agree with all that. But the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are not something that you can put in the same basket at any point, I don't think, anymore. They're not the same thing. One of them is running for a democratic nation. The other one is actively pushing a fascist nation. And so I don't think that they're even on the same playing field anymore as far as what they want and the corrupt type of corruption. But I will agree with you that corruption exists within both sides, and there are corrupt people on both sides, and all that's true. But I would disagree that nothing has been done for the middle class. That's just the optic that they pushed on everybody, which also helped Trump get elected.
Yeah, you got to watch out with absolute statements like all politicians are corrupt, and all, because Like, that's the same kind of stuff that,
Yeah.
they say.
Great point.
Yeah, you can't. It would be just exactly the same if Joe pushed back with, none of our politicians are corrupt. That's an absurd statement, just as much as saying all
Yeah, that
politicians
just
are
as
corrupt.
absurd. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to be careful for those all statements, because there's almost always an exception. They haven't done much. Okay. Yeah. They didn't accomplish much, is how I would say it. But I feel you.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to accomplish anything when when there's some corruption. Like,
Yeah.
when you got a house that is divided and actively trying to stop bills just because it'll help someone else politically, like,
Yeah.
in a perfect world, the House votes on bills that they either like or dislike. They're like, I vote yes because this sounds like a good one, and I vote no because I don't like it. That's an honest vote, but that's not how they vote in your government. They're voting for, oh, there's an interesting bill. Who wrote it? Oh, I
Yeah.
don't like that guy.
What
No
color's the
vote.
header on that bill?
Yeah. What? Or, well, wait a minute. Before I vote, let me take this call. What's that, Trump?
Yeah.
Say no. Okay,
What's
you
that,
got it.
Daddy?
Yeah.
Can you believe they called him Daddy publicly?
No.
They did.
Did they?
A couple of them. Yeah.
Wow.
They said Daddy's home, and he's mad.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some scary times coming. So I am in my household, even in a different country, I am preparing for financial hardship, and gonna lock it all down and hang on tight.
Yeah.
Because aside from, like, Canada being having problems with these new tariffs that Trump wants to put, there's also the political landscape that is changing. So I have to be very aware of the Canadian election that's coming up in 11 months at max, in 11 months. And we have our own right wing insane guy on deck. And the polls right now, he's pretty strong. He's really, really strong. Our only saving grace is that this person doesn't get what we call a majority government. That will be our only saving grace, is the fact that we don't just have like a two-party system. That's our only hope at this point. In other words, I'm saying he's going to win. We just got to make sure he doesn't get the same control that your guy got.
Yeah.
Because, believe it or not, our own healthcare could be on the line. Something that we've enjoyed since the 60s. And I can't imagine that world. I don't want to live in that world.
No.
Like, oh man. The things that are happening today and over the next couple of years, if we were to go back in time 20 years and said that this stuff could happen, we would be laughed at. If we were in a bar talking shit about politics and telling them the stuff that was going on in our time period, they were like, that's impossible. That can't happen because of this and that and the other thing. And it's like, I'm telling you, man, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, there's it's I don't think that it's this weird thing.
Sorry, I just noticed the title of the video and you linked my channel, Skeptic Spindle 9910.
Did I really? Did I link the wrong one?
They have 1 subscriber. Everyone, go and click the link and subscribe to Skeptic Spindle right now. They have 1 subscriber. Go subscribe. Let's just make this person go, why do I suddenly have 12 new subscribers? Go click on the link in the description that Joe put by mistake. I understand, Joe. It's fine. Don't panic. But for fun, just go and subscribe to their channel and give them like a sudden like 6 to 7 subscribers. It'll be great.
Tell them how great their talk was on Trump's cabinet picks.
Yeah. So before Joe fixes it or changes it, just go. There's people actually doing it. Fantastic. This is great. Their email is gonna be like, "You just got a new subscriber. You just got a new subscriber." Skeptic Spindle. I just hope they're not like a right wing maniac. 5 subscribers from 1 to. Wow, this person's blowing up. Thanks, guys. That made my day. Cool. All right, you can fix it now, Joe.
I'm in the process. It's already gone.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, PC, for linking in the chat there.
I thought for sure it had your logo.
No, it's
I must have clicked
someone with a face bandana and a straw hat.
Oh, is the bandana red?
Yeah. But my logo's not, so that doesn't mean anything.
Well.
Oh, you mean like maybe they're MAGA?
They're probably right wingers. Okay. Everybody's going to tell them how great the video is.
Right winger, left winger. You know what? Maybe he'll see who subscribed and realize what happened, and we can convert one. If we can convert one person, it will have been worth it.
Yeah. All right. I fixed that. I guess that's all we got, right? I want to show this real quick to everybody. There's a couple I need to add to it, but 30 second break here real quick.
Sweet. All right. I saw my name. Did you guys find your name?
I feel like that was much better than the banner thing, you know, like, and
there's a little, maybe it's just me, but I feel like there's a little bit of an edge on that music though. Maybe like, I don't know if you can drop it 10% or something, but
yeah, I can do that. I have to update it so I did it that way because I can save the file in Shotcut, because what I can do is I can go and resave the screenshots under the same name and then just hit update in Shotcut, and it will update the pictures. I don't have to go and redo the whole thing every time. So that made it easy for me to do it. Plus, it's I think a better way to say thank you to my channel members and Patreon supporters for supporting the channel.
Yeah, I think it also makes a fun little game for find your name. Where's your name? Find your name. I found my name. I saw Ember.
How quick?
I saw Robin. I saw Maya.
The ones that have been here longer are at the end of the list. Robin holds the top spot right now. I think she's been a member for a year now, which is the day that I started having memberships. But that being said, thank you to all my channel members and Patreon supporters. You guys are great.
I concur.
What do you got coming up, Justin?
All right. Well, for anyone who's tired of all the election talks and how everyone's YouTube channel, even the atheist/theist channels, are like all gone political, we're going to switch gears a little bit on my channel on Sunday. On Sunday, I have, let me see here. I'm just going to do this. There you go. You can put this up, Joe. So on Sunday, I have an evolution debate. Is evolution real, between Octavio and Grayson Hawk on Sunday? 6 p.m., guys, at 6 p.m., because Octavio is from the UK. So, you know, for him, that's already 11 p.m. By the time we start. And Grayson Hawk. So Grayson's insanely excited, so I expect him to be top form for this one. And if you haven't seen Octavio before, he debated Mark Reed on Is God Real last month on my channel. And yeah, so that's what I got coming up here shortly this weekend. And the weekend after, I'm doing back to our normal scheduled program. I got Neil the 604 Atheist coming on. And then
Awesome.
holiday season's coming around, and last holiday season, can you believe it's been a year, Joe?
I know.
I've been a YouTuber for a year now.
I know, it's crazy, ain't it?
I'm on my 4th channel now. But in any
I
case,
can't believe I made like 230 videos now.
wow. Yeah, I started over on Modern Day Debate just over a year ago.
Yep.
And then I was over on the I already forgot what it's called for a little while, and then I moved on to my own with another person, and now I'm all by myself, doing it all by myself again. But it's been a year. Yeah, I mentioned it to Mark. I was like, Mark, I've been friends for a year. He's like, only a year? And I was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
He thinks it's been like 5 years or something. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, I've known all of you guys for like a year now. Anyways,
Yeah.
the holiday season, I want to play some games. Let's go out with a bang. So everyone stay tuned. Subscribe to my channel, Skeptic Spin. Because over Christmas, I'm going to try to do some games that will involve my panelists as well as hopefully entertain the audience.
Well, I volunteer.
Yeah, for sure.
Always.
Just some fun stuff. There's a game that I have called Use Your Words. Very entertaining, super fun. Anyone can play who doesn't own the game, and it can support up to 1,000 audience members who also get to like play along, not necessarily play the game, but they get to play along. It's very enjoyable. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Skeptic Spin is linked in the title of this video now, and and PC has put it and the upcoming shows in the chat, along with Justin's LinkTree, where you can find everything he's up to. So for sure, if you're watching now and you're not familiar with Skeptic Spin or Justin, it's definitely worth going and subscribing. If you're watching later, I
may even hit 500 before the end of the year. At the pace I'm going, I might even hit 500.
Yeah, I think you're doing great, and I knew that you would. I knew that, we all went through some changes here a while back, and things have actually been going really well for everybody. I think the community came together about some stuff, and we all made changes for the better, and I hope the best for everyone involved.
All of our favorite closer channels have all hit some pretty great milestones. Like, Grayson has done a little rebranding to Grayson Hawk and is well over 3,000 subscribers. Maya finally hitting 1,000 subscribers. That one felt hard fought, but so well deserved. But however, Maya's channel, even though at 1,000 subscribers, I think she's got the most active and participating audience. When she goes live,
she rarely has
60, 70 people in that chat now. It's awesome. So fun to go hang out there on Sunday nights. Mark Reed, another personal favorite of mine, he's hit 2,000. You hit 1,000 this year, and already at 1,200, Joe. So like, good job, man.
Thank you. I'm trying. Jess is trying hard.
Your channel's looking spiffy. We could just get Jess to help you dress, then you'd be really talking.
Well, I kind of did this on purpose today. I wanted to show off the guns. We're actually I'm working on
you make when you do that
to fit the new look too, and I'm gonna do kind of a fun thing. The Sunday show is gonna be transforming into a solo show with me, talking about different things in the news and atheist adjacent and atheist community and stuff like that, along with some other stuff, put in there just for fun. And we'll have a list, and people can super chat to change subjects to anything on the list if they want, or we'll just go through what we get through that day. I'll be taking calls solo, just taking calls in to talk about whatever subject that we have on. And it's going to be different, but I look for it to actually do kind of well. I think it's a good idea. It's going to be more community focused and stuff while talking about those things. And so I look for it to have have a good outcome. We're working on some good stuff, and I think it'll improve the content to help match some of the production value we've got over here now. And yeah, you too can have stuff like this. Get with Jess and ask her. She's always wanting to do freelance work for somebody. So yeah, I just ask her. This is a perfect demonstration of her capabilities.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some branding ideas. I'm looking for a fresh coat of paint for the new year, and yeah, I've got a gimmick or a style I'm gonna go and approach. It's very much me, and yeah, I'm already actively working on it and fixing some things up. And Jess is always welcome to give me a hand if she wants. But yeah, bottom line is we all need to like keep at it, especially now. I would say even more than ever. Like right up until the election in November, we did it kind of. We can almost say that we all did it on a little bit of tongue in cheek, right? Like Bad Science Sundays is a little tongue in cheek against bad science, but at the same time, it's supposed to be educational, right? Maya's trying to show you that this bad science is silly,
yeah,
and have a laugh at it, right? Same thing.
I think
with,
it's the
like,
right approach, honestly.
Yeah, same thing with like some of the religious, like atheist shows we do and that we love and watch. It's a little bit like the claims are so absurd, so we laugh at it, tongue in cheek, yada yada, whatever. It's got a little less funny now, and we got to keep going, because even the stream that we just did now, hopefully somebody in the audience was introduced to someone that Trump is nominated for a position they didn't realize was that insane. Like we got to know who these people are. I don't want to say know your enemy, because I don't want to go there yet to say that this is like a war and they're the enemy. But like we got to know who they are and what positions they hold and why they hold them, because we need to understand why things have happened when they happen, right? Like if you want to know why you suddenly have cavities after going a whole life with never having a cavity, well, now you'll understand it's because RFK took the fluoride out of your water. Like it's so many.
Yeah, so these people are a real danger to in numerous ways, and a danger to our country and the world economy and all those things.
Human rights, freedom, health, democracy.
Now the other stuff, as far as like some of the creationist claims and some of the pseudoscience stuff and things like that. What I love about Maya's channel, and something that I've kind of adopted along the way, is sometimes, like, rather than trying to set and point out facts to someone who wants to say evolution isn't true or something, sometimes they deserve to be mocked. I mean, I think there's a time for each of those things, right? Like, sometimes you can have that discussion. If someone wants to seriously have that discussion because they want to understand your position better and stuff, that's one thing. But the creationist apologist that wants to come deny science and just argue about stupid, absurd shit, like, they should be treated like they're saying stupid, absurd things, not treated like we're on level playing ground here and there's actually something to discuss. Because unless they've got some new evidence, which is the one thing they never have, is evidence. But that's my opinion. People do all these different perspectives are valuable, how people do things. But given some of the things that happened in this election, it really opened my eyes to a couple of things. And Maya said calling out bigots is my superpower. I offered Maya a wrench PC. She said no. She didn't say no in a mean way. There was a conversation, but she said no. That's the thing, though, is like, because we see now there was a statement made that these people who used to hide and wear white hoods are now doing it publicly, right? They're doing it out in the open, and they're trying to make this bigotry and hate stuff mainstream. and they're doing it. And I mean, the Christian nationalists that made this thing happen, I'm sorry, but like I don't have many friendly words to say to the people who go around promoting this kind of ideology and support these things. I just don't. And that's me. I don't encourage everybody to be that way or whatever, but that's my attitude about it. I think many of them are pieces of shit, and I will treat them as such. If you want to be a bigot, I think I should be able to call you a piece of shit. That's just how I feel about it, you know. With that out of the way, though, all that friendly talk. Tomorrow, I'll be over on Captive Desk Dave's channel doing Saturday Night at the Atheist. We're going to talk about some of the states of apologetics and some of the different facts about apologetics these days. That show has been really popular and getting tons of views and doing really good. I'll be over there tomorrow starting at 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll probably go for a few hours, so come join us over there on that show. Sunday, I'll be here with the Grateful to Know God's broadcast. I almost spit it out perfectly. I mispronounce the name of my own show every time I try to say it. Grateful to Know God's broadcast. We'll come on tomorrow and or Sunday rather. And my guest this Sunday is Nick from In Time. And we're going to talk a little bit about what Nick does and some of his ideas and things. And we're probably going to hit a little bit of politics during that, but that's not going to be the whole focus of the conversation. It's going to be about Nick and his channel and stuff. I support Nick and like Nick. We disagree on a couple things, but I think that Nick's doing a great thing and has a great channel and stands for a lot of great ideas and stuff. So I'm going to bring him over and we're going to have a talk about those things.
He's also well spoken, so he's a great
very
person.
Smart guy, very smart guy. Incredibly intelligent and well spoken. I agree with that. I have a lot of respect for Nick, and I think he does. I think he fights for some good causes and is a good guy. So we're going to talk about that. But then Thursday, I'm going to have Ian Chin come on, and we're going to talk about some of his debates with Hovind and some of the crazy creationist claims. And this idea of mocking some of these things is going to be put front and center. I'm going to discuss some of that with him. And then the next Sunday, Secular Rarity will be over. And I got to give big ups to Justin for making that introduction, actually.
Yes, I am SR's official manager. If you want SR on your show, you got to go through me. And I'm not cheap.
If you want the PR on SR, you gotta go to Justin. Yeah, so he's going to come on, and I just got an email from the Apostate Sisters saying they would like to come on. So I'll be setting that up pretty soon too.
I want some.
Yeah, well, I may be able to help there. You'll have to go through my PR thread.
Yeah, they were just on the Stacy's Mom podcast the other day. It was great.
Yeah, they just released
four women on screen just drinking wine. It was hilarious.
Yeah, they just released an interview I did with them over on their channel, which I thought was actually a pretty good take on my part. I have a lot of bad ones and say a lot.
They were in a cult, right? Like they survived a cult.
Yeah, they were in an actual cult. Crazy. Like what I think most religion is a cult, but
yeah.
They were in
under the umbrella of cult. We can put a lot of religions, but like they were
more culty than Scientology.
Yeah, like they were this close from like in a bunker locking the door and
yeah. They but I love those two. Their videos are fun and
they're
funny,
so funny,
and they're growing, and they've had a lot of great guests, and they make great content, and I see really big things for them. So I'm super excited to schedule and get them on. That'll be in the next couple of weeks, provided their schedule allows for it.
Well, yeah, you guys have Thanksgiving coming up here any minute, which means Black Friday.
Yeah.
What day is Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
29th?
I'm 300 pounds. You think I don't celebrate Food Day?
I didn't say you didn't. I asked what day Food Day was.
I thought you said, do you celebrate Thanksgiving?
No, you're 300 pounds. You think you don't celebrate Food Day?
I
No,
celebrate
when
Thanksgiving.
is it?
November, from Thanksgiving to Easter is all one meal for me.
Oh, I see. Stay
let me
tuned
give
for
you-
Joe to live stream from his dining room table for the next 6
I'll
months.
be live streaming with a turkey leg in hand. Thanksgiving is the 28th.
28th, okay.
The last Thursday of November.
Right, making the Friday after 29th is Black Friday.
Yeah, it's one of those weird holidays where they didn't give it an actual date. They made it the last Thursday of November.
Yeah. Cool. It's the Cyber Monday I look forward to. So that means
me too.
I need to just keep track.
Me too. I'm looking to build a new computer at the first of the year and stuff, and I'm doing a lot of upgrades. There'll be I'm working on my office, getting things together. It's not going to be perfect at first. If you want to help out with that, I've got an Amazon wish list in the description with a lot of the things that I'm looking to put in that office. That's actually what's on that list, is stuff to do that with.
I just sold the old parts of my old computer for $500.
Yeah, I know. If I would have had the funds, man, I would have probably bought that off of you. Actually, that was nice.
It sold for $500.
Nice, not bad, not bad. I'm looking. I was just going to upgrade the video card and SSD in my computer, but I think I've got the. I think I'm going to have the resources to just build a new one that is built for streaming, and upgrade a lot of my studio top stuff to have an actual little studio here at the house to be able to do my streams from. And that's kind of why the change to the Sunday show hasn't happened yet. My StreamYard subscription runs out in the first week of December, and that's when I'll make the change over to the other software or the other site, and then we'll start doing that. That's kind of what I've been waiting on.
So Thanksgiving is not the last Thursday in November. It's the 4th Thursday. So it's possible for a 5 Thursday November, but it would not mean the last Thursday was
good
5 Thursday.
I didn't know that.
You should know that. It was freaking Food Day. You literally jumped on me about not liking Food Day.
It doesn't matter.
You don't even know when Food Day is.
I eat on the last Thursday of every month. So.
All right. Well, let's get out of here. We're just galloping at this point, and I got to.
All right. Let me because I have the best outros. You know that, right? Like I do them real smooth.
Best everything.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Have a great day.
The best
Come back
jest.
and see us. Go subscribe, see you later. Bye.